In this video, I'm going to be showing you 10 of our favourite recipes for using wild garlic. Some are going to be simple and easy, and others a little bit more adventurous. And at the end, we're going to show you how we created an Indian banquet using wild garlic. If you're new to this channel, please hit subscribe and the bell notification and give us a thumbs up. Hello, my name's Lee and I'm from Woodland Classroom. We help people to reconnect with nature through bushcraft, forest school, nature therapy and wild food. And I'd like to welcome you all to this video, but a special thank you and welcome to our patrons who have joined us on our journey to reconnect with nature. And it's because of them that we make these videos for everyone to enjoy. So thanks, and I hope you like what you're going to see. So, to begin our top 10 favourite wild garlic recipes, I'm going to start with something really simple, and that is a sandwich. Whether it be cheese, egg or ham, just replace the lettuce with some wild garlic to really pep it up, to give it some fire and some real garlic flavour. But if you're outside, perhaps around a campfire, turn that sandwich into a toastie, or we like to do pizza wraps. We'll put the link to the video on how to make those in the description. Staying on the theme of sandwiches, this is one of my favourite ways to use wild garlic. More so than anything, it's its simplicity. But I like to make a wild garlic mayonnaise. And I don't make my own mayonnaise. Again, I like it simple. So I buy shop-bought mayonnaise. I use a food processor to whiz up and to really chop fine that wild garlic. Then in a bowl, I dollop the mayonnaise, put in a few spoonfuls of wild garlic, mix it up, and then put it into jars. That will last in my fridge for up to a few weeks, if I don't eat it first, of course. Another great way to use wild garlic is to make a wild salad. In this salad here that we made, we've used a shop-bought salad and then added wild greens to it. It's not always about eating totally wild, but it's about going out foraging, gathering plants and adding them to the food that we already eat to make it more interesting. So in this salad we have picked some wild greens that you find at this time of year, the same time that wild garlic grows. If you're interested in finding out more about what you can forage at different times of year, check out our online course. For this next recipe idea, I'm going to be talking about one of our favourites. It's a classic, and that is garlic bread. In this recipe, I have made my own garlic butter. So you choose your favourite butter. You put a good few handfuls of wild garlic in your food processor or blender and whiz it up until it's chopped really fine. And then you simply add it to the butter at room temperature and give it a real good mix. I'm now going to add my garlic butter to my bread. I'm then going to add my bread to a hot oven for 5 or 10 minutes until it's slightly toasted and the garlic butter has completely melted. For this next recipe idea, I'm just going to talk to you about the idea of using wild garlic for pesto without actually showing you how to make it. The reason being, it's the most widely known recipe when talking about wild garlic. There are so many recipes here on YouTube and all over the internet. But here is our wild garlic pesto. You can also add other greens to make your pesto even more wild. And we like to replace the pine nuts for hazelnuts to give it more of a wild edge. And I personally don't have cow's milk, so I also replace the parmesan for nutritional yeast. So this is suitable for vegans too. Pesto is great used in pasta dishes, on jacket potatoes. We like to use it on crackers with cheese and crackers. In fact, another great way to eat a wild garlic with cheese and crackers is to use kimchi, which I have here. I'm not going to talk about that in this video because we have a video already on our channel going through all the details of how to make the kimchi. We also have a great recipe on the channel, which is wild garlic and nettle risotto. We'll leave the link to both those recipes in the description below. This next recipe is a pasta sauce. It's a tomato-based pasta sauce, but with plenty of wild garlic in, and a few additional items that I've chosen, but you could choose your own favourites. The three things I've chosen to add in addition to the wild garlic is some fried onions, some sun-dried tomatoes chopped up, and I had in my windowsill some basil and coriander, which I've chopped up. Like many pasta dishes, the base of this sauce is tomato. Here I've mixed a tin of chopped tomatoes and a tin of passata sauce. And here I have plenty of wild garlic chopped finely in the food processor to give our pasta sauce that real kick. And now I mix all the ingredients together. In goes the garlic. In goes the sun-dried tomatoes, the fried onion. There's a few red peppers in there from tea last night. And then my fresh herbs. And mix it all together. Oh, and the colour's looking fantastic already. Not only will this be a tasty pasta dish, but also very nutritious. Now looking at this, I could probably add more tomatoes, perhaps more passata or chopped tomatoes, bulk out the dish, so not only can I have it for my next meal, but I can preserve it in pots in the freezer. It's an excellent way to preserve wild garlic and enjoy it when the season is over. For the final dish before we get on to the Indian banquet, I'm going to make a wild garlic baked hummus. For this, you're going to need a tin or 200 grams of chickpeas. You're going to need a couple of handfuls of wild garlic chopped fine in the food processor. Make sure you keep a few chickpeas back for decoration at the end. You're going to need a teaspoon of cumin, pinch of salt, some paprika to sprinkle on at the end. We've got a tablespoon of tahini. We've got 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, 4 tablespoons of water, and a tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil. You can make it quite coarse or smooth, depending on how you prefer it. Then at the end, we're going to put it in a pot. We're going to sprinkle on the paprika, bake it in the oven, and it'll be perfect to dunk in some nice crusty bread. Just to add a little more of an element of wildness. Here it is, ready to put in the oven. Now we like to bake hummus, not just for the dipability, but the raw wild garlic can be quite pungent in flavour. So by cooking it slightly or heating it up, it will smooth out that flavour, making it a bit more mellow. This is going in the oven, a fan oven at 160 for 20 minutes. In this recipe, I'm going to do a stuffed pepper with wild spicy couscous. The first thing I'm going to do is take the spices. In here I've got some curry powder, some ginger, onion salt, chilli powder and cumin. But you could use any of your favourite blend of spices. I'm then going to add a little bit of olive oil so it all sticks nicely to the couscous.
So I'm going to put what I need in there, enough to fill the pepper. Probably try a little bit more. Next, I'm going to add my wild ingredients. So here I've got my chopped wild garlic, but in addition, I'm going to add these beautifully bright red chopped up scarlet elf cup, which looks like this on the forest floor at the same time of year that you'll find wild garlic. So we're going to add the wild garlic. Let's add all of that. And the scarlet elf cup to give it that lovely splash of colour. It looks fabulous with the green of the garlic leaves. Oh, look at that. Beautiful. Next, I'm going to stuff the pepper. I want to completely fill it. Make sure you've gotten your fingers into the pepper beforehand to remove all the pith, so you've got plenty of room for lots of the filling. That needs to go in an oven to 180 for 15-20 minutes. The baby's awake. Good timing. This dish is going to be a wild version of sagaloo. Sagaloo is normally spinach and potato, Indian style, but we're going to take away the spinach and add wild greens. We've mainly got wild garlic in here. However, we also have some ground elder, ground ivy and nettle mixed in with the wild garlic. The ingredients we need is 1 large finely chopped onion, 250 grams of potatoes chopped into 2 centimetre pieces. We've got a large chilli, got a tablespoon of chopped ginger, and in here we've got half a teaspoon of cumin seeds, half a teaspoon of black mustard seeds, half a teaspoon of turmeric, and again half a teaspoon of salt. And the wild greens is around 250 grams. First thing I'm going to do is fry the onion and ginger for around 3-4 minutes. Then I'm going to add the potato, give that a really good stir, add the spices, the salt and the chilli, and stir around for another couple of minutes. Splash of water, put a lid on and let the potatoes cook through for around 8 to 10 minutes. The final part of the cooking process, once you've tested the potatoes and they're all cooked through, you add your wild greens and immediately remove from the heat. So you stir it through, switch the heat off, and then the heat from the potatoes will just wilt these greens nicely. If you cook them too much, the flavour of garlic disappears quite quickly, and you want that fresh garlic taste. Now, I did mention that there's some nettle in here, and if you're worried about the sting, don't. The slightest bit of heat from the cooking process will get rid of any sting. This recipe is chicken tikka parcels. We are wrapping our chicken strips in wild garlic. The first thing you need to do is cut your chicken breast into nice thin strips. You also need to have prepared some big wild garlic leaves. The bigger the better, and quite a few because we're going to be wrapping them up with lots of layers. In this bowl I poured some cooking oil and some tikka curry powder, but you could use curry paste or any blend of spices that you prefer. Then I've put my chicken strips in, which have pre-soaked in salt water to make them extra juicy. And now I'm going to mix it up so all the chicken is coated in those tikka spices. Here we are, our chicken tikka parcels. Now, each piece of chicken is wrapped in about 4 layers of wild garlic. And this is important, more so if you're cooking them on embers outside, because you kind of want the outer layer to be like a sacrificial layer that's going to perhaps get burned and need to be peeled away. And those inner layers of leaves should stay intact and be nice and tasty and give you that garlic flavour while you're eating your chicken. But also, instead of using foil is not great for the environment, so we can avoid it by using wild garlic leaves instead. I've got my wild Indian feast all done and ready to eat. I am going to enjoy this. We've got some extra naan breads, a little bit of mango chutney, some lime pickle to go perfectly with our wild aloo, our chicken parcels and our stuffed wild couscous pepper.
Thank you so much for watching. And if there's any recipes that you love that we've missed out, please let us know in the comments section below. And if you like other recipe ideas or identification guides on other wild foods, please check out our channel as we've got lots of them. But for now, it's time for me and Beren to take this and put it to good use. See you next time.